Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. So the most important news and editorial of the day that is relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 27th of December. The first important news that is panel call for expediting the nomadic tribe in the quota list. Why the panel has raised concern? Because there was a delay from the government with regards to the inclusion of nomadic tribe into the quotas list. Second, Delhi High Court verdicts on Ruabza trademark. This is from the text and context page of the Hindu, and we'll understand how the trademark policy actually works. Third, universal digital capturing for Manrega attendance has been made mandatory from the year, that is from the next year 2023. From January 1st onwards, this will be mandatory. Now, PM speaks to President of Ukraine, understanding the ground situation over there. And the last is an editorial worship program that must go full steam ahead. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. And these questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful for examination purposes, do press a like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is panel called for expediting the nomadic tribe in quotas list, something important for general studies paper 2 under the subtopic that is welfare schemes for the vulnerable section of the population by the center and the state government. So recently the parliamentary panel on social justice and empowerment has pulled up the union government over the very slow process to categorize almost 260 denotified nomadic and semi-nomadic tribal under the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and OBC list. तो ये intentionally बेसिकली क्या है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से की गई है या नहीं की गई है, इसी पॉइंट को हाईलाइट करते हुए पार्लियामेंट्री पैनल ने बेसिकली गवर्नमेंट से कहा है कि जो वर्किंग है वो काफ़ी स्लो हो रही है एंड दिस प्रोसेस नीड टू बी ऑगमेंटेड विद हाई प्रायोरिटी. Now, the slow process has delayed the approval of benefits under the SEED program, which stand for Scheme for Economic Empowerment of DNTs, was launched in February 2022. तो ये प्रोग्राम ऑलरेडी लॉन्च की गई है ताकि जो मार्जिनलाइज डीनोटिफाइड नोमैडिक और सेमी नोमैडिक ट्राइब्स हैं उनको बेनिफिट्स मिले सीड्स प्रोग्राम की, बट उनके इंक्लूजन ना होने की वजह से उन लोगों को अभी तक इससे वंचित रहना पड़ा. The people are actually exempted. The people have not availed the benefits out of it, right? Now, what is SEED program actually? The Scheme for Social Economic Empowerment and Denotified Nomadic, Semi-Nomadic Communities was launched by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and it aims to provide free competitive exams coaching to the students belonging to the category, provide health insurance to families, uplift the cluster of communities through the livelihood initiative and provide financial assistance for housing. Apart from it, it also provides the health insurance through PMJY of National Health Authority. उसके अलावा लाइवलीहुड सपोर्ट की बात की गई है जहाँ पे उनके लिए इनकम जनरेशन की कोशिश की जाएगी. There will be a possible initiative where income generation will be in focus. Also the housing part through PMAY and PMIAY. So these are the main significant features under the program SEED. Now, what is the panel report? What the panel has said and what are the concerns that has reasoned out by the panel? The panel in its report, which was tabled in the parliament during the recent winter session, has held that earlier they have also flagged the concern with the inability of the department for the necessary action, and they have called that the speedy and accurate categorization of this community need to be done at the earliest ताकि जो सीड जैसे बेनिफिट्स हैं जिसको गवर्नमेंट ने ऑलरेडी काफ़ी पहले किया हुआ है उसके बेनिफिट्स मिल पाए लोगों को. The panel noted that the program was very slow and further said that it expect the government to expedite the entire process in a time-bound manner and sought a detailed timelines on the same. ना डिपार्टमेंट की क्या रिस्पॉन्स है? अगर बात करें डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ सोशल जस्टिस एंड एम्पावरमेंट की, उन्होंने अपनी रिपोर्ट सबमिट में कहा है that the Anthropological Survey of India, that is ANSI, have submitted a report on the categorizations of 48 DNT, that is denotified tribals area communities so far जो notified किए गए. In addition, 267 communities not categorized so far, and ANSI has finished the studies on 24 communities with Tribal Research Institute studying in 12 communities. Further, the Anthropological Survey of India has finalized the studies on 161 communities, and it's expecting to finish the remaining communities about 70 by the end of 2022. We are almost at the closer of this end. So very soon it is expected that the submission will be made, and the beneficiaries who are still not availed the benefit will definitely come up under the beneficiaries list and avail the benefit that is offered by the union government. Now moving to the other news, this is from the text and context page of the Hindu. Delhi High Court verdict on Roo Afza trademark, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is structure, organization and function of executive and judiciary. Now in December, the Delhi High Court in the case of Hamdard National Foundation versus Sardar Laboratories Private Limited has restrained the Sardar Laboratories from manufacturing and selling up of the impugned trademark Dil Afza. You must be aware, आपको पता होगा जो हमदर्द एक ब्रांड है उनकी एक प्रोडक्ट है that is Roo Afza. This is a segment upon which they sell different product. So Roo Afza is a brand owned by Hamdard, और उसी के कंपिटिटर्स ने जो सरदार लेबोरेटरीज है उन्होंने सेम प्रोडक्ट को दूसरे नाम से दिल अफजा के नाम से रिलीज किया, विच दे हैव एक्चुअली पिटिशंस इन द हाई कोर्ट कि ये बेसिकली उनके ट्रेडमार्क की वॉयलेशंस है. The court has observed that the trademark Roo Afza is a prima facie a strong mark requiring a high degree of protection, and it was acquired with immense goodwill. Now, why it is important for examination? बेसिकली अगर जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 3 की बात करें वहां पे आपसे ट्रेडमार्क के बारे में पूछी जा सकती है. इवन फॉर एथिक्स पेपर इन जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 4 देयर कैन बी अ केस स्टडीज वेयर यू कैन डायरेक्टली विल राइट टू अबाउट इफ सपोज यूर अ कॉम्पिटेंट अथॉरिटी एंड यू हैव टू टेक अ डिसीजन. तो इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस केस स्टडीज में कई बार काफी रेलेवेंट होते हैं. Now, what is trademark? Understanding the definition and functioning of the trademark. The trademark is a distinctive sign or indicators used by business organization to distinguish its product from product or services with other entities, right? तो एक specific trademark दी जाती है, एक brand name दी जाती है ताकि उसकी कोई copy ना कर पाए, right? It's exclusive right of a company owned. It serves as a baggage of the original exclusive identifying for a particular business as a source of goods or services. Now, the trademark infringement is an unauthorized usage of a sign that is identical or deceptively similar to the registered trademark. तो जो इस कंडीशन हुई रू अफजा की जगह दिल अफजा का नाम यूज किया गया. Now, what is the main dispute? You can see the comparison. There are two comparisons. The one is with the Roo Afza that is owned by Hamdard, and the other is like Dil Afza that is owned by the Sardar Laboratories Private Limited. Now, the manufacturers of Roo Afza has moved an appeal against the injections of an application seeking the interim injunctions against the Sardar Laboratories for their product, which is known as Dil Afza. And the applicant has stated before the court that the trademark Roo Afza is a highly reputed mark with a market value with its segment known as sweet beverages or sharbat. Furthermore, it was claimed that the design of the product Dil Afza is deceptively similar to the getup of the trademark and it is dressed with the applicant product. तो बहुत हद तक सिमिलैरिटी रखी गई है इसमें. उस चीज के लिए खास करके हमदर्द के जो विंग्स हैं, जो लीगल सेल है, उन्होंने कोर्ट को अप्रोच किया. Now, what was court verdict in this regard? The divisional bench of the Delhi High Court has restrained the respondent, that is the Sardar Laboratories Private Limited, from manufacturing and selling any kind of product under the trademark Dil Afza till the final disposal of the trademark infringement suit is there, right? So, court ने भी stay किया है, and the court held that it is not difficult to conceive that the person who looks like the same label with the other name would be common and meaning would be same. So when it is translated in English, the conjunction will be same. So that is the reason the court initially, the prima facie has said there will be no further productions and even sale of the product which is sold by the company, right? So this is how they have basically asked the Sardar Laboratories to not come up with the product in the market and stop its further productions. Now, moving to the other news, universal digital captioning of Manrega attendance, something important for general studies paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from its design and implementations. So the union government has mandated the digital capture of attendance for the worker employed under the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Scheme Pan India from January 1st, 2023. तो गवर्नमेंट ने मैंडेट किया है कि जो डिजिटल कैप्चर ऑफ अटेंडेंस है वो मैंडेटरी होगी बिकॉज देयर आर मेनी मोर लूप होल्स दैट हैज इमर्ज्ड बिकॉज ऑफ द अटेंडेंस. Now, there's a specific platform that is used, that is a national mobile monitoring system. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने आर्ग्यू किया कि ये ट्रांसपेरेंसी और अकाउंटेबिलिटी बढ़ाने के लिए गवर्नमेंट ने मई 2021 में इस तरह के प्रोविजन स्टार्ट किए थे जहां जो अटेंडेंस है इज देयर ऑन द मोबाइल ऐप अंडर द सिस्टम, अंडर द प्लेटफॉर्म ऑफ नेशनल मोबाइल मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम. Now, from May 16, 2022, capturing of the attendance via app was made compulsory for all the worker with 20 or more work in a specific location. Now, this require uploading of the twice time span and geotagged photograph of the worker. Now, connectivity issues की वजह से काफ़ी ज़्यादा इस पे problem आई because the rural areas still are not connected with the proper internet services. Somewhere there is no internet connectivity. तो पुअर इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी की वजह से जो कंपलसरी अटेंडेंस थी मोबाइल एप्लीकेशंस में उसको लेकर के काफ़ी सेटबैक देखी गई एम्प्लॉयज़ के बीच में एंड देयर वर वाइड स्प्रेड कंप्लेन ओवर द लैक ऑफ टेक्निकल सपोर्ट दैट वाज इवन प्रोवाइडेड. नाउ अगर बात करें जॉब्स की, खास करके कुछ स्पेसिफिक पोजीशंस हैं लाइक मेल एंड सुपरवाइजर, दे वर ओनली पेड मार्जिनली विद द अनस्किल्ड वर्कर. तो दोनों के बीच में जो सैलरी के डिफरेंस है बिटवीन द अनस्किल्ड वर्कर एंड द स्किल्ड वर्कर वाज नॉट हाई. एंड इवन जो अनस्किल्ड वर्कर है अगर उनकी सैलरी डिले होती है तो उनको कंपनसेशन दी जाती है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, राइट. जितने दिन की डिले हुई उतने दिन की कंपनसेशन मिलती है. बट व्हेन इट्स कम टू सुपरवाइजर विच इज अ स्किल्ड वर्कर विथ अ सेमी स्किल्ड वर्कर, इनके लिए कोई भी कंपनसेशन की प्रोविजंस नहीं रखी है गवर्नमेंट ने. द रीजन बीइंग दीज पीपल आर आल्सो कन्वर्टिंग देम टू एज एन अनस्किल्ड वर्कर. तो एक डिस्प्यूट थी विच आई हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड in the Daily News and Editorial Analysis series. You can check it out in a playlist section. Now, replacement of the muster rolls. तो ऐप बेस्ड अटेंडेंस सिस्टम जो स्टार्ट किए गवर्नमेंट ने उसे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मस्टर रोल जो कि पहले इनरोल किए जाते थे उसको रिप्लेस कर दी गई है. I'll show you an image what is muster roll. See, this is how the muster roll actually look like. This is an Excel sheet, basically kind of an Excel sheet where the data is being taken by the computer operator और वो एक्सटर्नली फीड करते हैं उस डेटा को, राइट. सो द स्टोरेज इज देयर इन अ ई मस्टर रोल. नाउ द गवर्नमेंट हैज चेंज दैट, राइट. सो ई मस्टर रोल को NMMS के थ्रू रिप्लेस की गई. एंड द सेकंड बिग प्रॉब्लम इज द टाइम स्पैन फोटोग्राफ, जो जियो टैग फोटोग्राफ थी वो इंट्रोड्यूस की गई. एंड ऑफन द वर्कर मे फिनिश देयर वर्क बट आर फोर्स्ड टू रिटर्न टू द वर्क साइट फॉर द सेकेंड फोटोग्राफ. सो कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चेंजेस लाई गई गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से सो दैट दीज मस्टर रोल्स शुड बी कंप्लीटली स्टैंड. So this is how the replacement was done. Now talking about Manrega contribution in sustainable development goal, it's very very important if you're writing in mains paper specifically. अब वहाँ पे ये चीज़ों को ज़रूर highlight करें. So first, no poverty is again the SDG goal. Zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, decent work and economic growth, industrial innovation and infrastructure, and reduced inequality. सो कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस अगर देखें ऑलमोस्ट क्लोज टू 10 कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस आते हैं. आप देख सकते हैं 8 कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन ऐसी पूरी है जो कि SDG के गोल्स से सिर्फ मनरेगा में की जाए, राइट. तो मनरेगा की जो प्रोग्राम है वो अपने आप में एक ऐसी इंपॉर्टेंट कंप्रिहेंसिव प्रोग्राम है जो SDG के 8 गोल्स को कैटर करती है. सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Even you can highlight this as specific program that cover most of the SDG goal which is emphasized. Now, moving to the other news, Prime Minister speak to President of Ukraine, something important for General Studies paper 2, under the subtopic effects of policies and politics of developed and developing countries on India's interest and India's diaspora. So recently, the Prime Minister of India has spoke to Ukraine President to discuss the India's ongoing G20 presidency. During the conversation, the Ukraine Prime President has sought support for the 10-point peace plan that was actually envisaged by him, and he called this plan as a resolution to the dispute ongoing between Russia and Ukraine. The call marks the fourth telephonic call between the Prime Minister of India and Ukrainian President. So this is something which both leader has discussed important issues. Now, what is a 10-point or 10-step peace step which Ukrainian president has come up with, जो यूक्रेन की तरफ से रिलीज की गई है? They called it group of 20s major economy meeting in Indonesia. जब मीटिंग हुई थी G20 की, वहाँ पे ये सारी बातें रखी गई. तो ये जो 10th स्टेप है ये काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है. दोज ऑफ यू हु आर हैविंग PSIR एज एन ऑप्शनल, उन बच्चों के लिए काफ़ी ज़्यादा रेलिवेंट है. इन जनरल फॉर जनरल स्टडीज ऑल्सो यू कैन यूज इट. द फर्स्ट इज ensuring the radiation and nuclear safety. Second is food security, energy security, release of all prisoners, deported prisoners, withdrawal of Russian troop and the castration of hostiles, restoration of justice, counter ecocide, that is economic suppressions, preventing escalations, confirmations of the end of the war, and implementation of the UN Charter in restoration of Ukrainian territorial integrity and world war, right? So a new term, ecocide, has also emerged, which means economic suppression. This can be a elaborative part on the mains examination. आप इस पे और ज़्यादा भी डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. Now India's response की अगर बात करें, the Prime Minister has a strong reiteration that he called for an immediate cessation of hostilities between Russia and Ukraine. And the Prime Minister said that the both countries should revert a dialogue and diplomacy to find a resolutions to the tension that has escalated between Russia and Ukraine. This tension is something getting a shape of a war. Still, we cannot say that this is a war. But again, the situation which is there is not which is not normal. See, many people have lost their life. There's a lot of infrastructural damage that took place in the major cities of Ukraine and the other part. Like some of the major cities of the Ukraine was completely destroyed. Now, the conversation between the leaders have a significant contribution to the G20 presidency, where India is holding the membership. India is the current chair of the G20, which will definitely continue till November 23. India, in its position to UN Charter, has said that it abstained from resolution of the critical Russia's action. The government has repeatedly called for a dialogue and diplomacy and end the conflict, with thousands that have died and 8 million peace that have fled the violence. Now, this is a tweet that was there from the Ukrainian president, that he said that I had a phone call with the Prime Minister of India, and he was on a platform to announce peace formula and even to implement. He also thanked the humanitarian support in the United Nations. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, the worship program that must go full steam ahead, something important for general studies paper 2, under the subtopic that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So what is the issues under this editorial? The three important issues. Before that, what is the theme? The theme is Indian INS capabilities, the classification of the carriers INS विक्रांत और चाइना की क्या ambitions है, उसको इंडिया कैसे काउंटर करेगी. Recently, the Indian Navy chief during an annual conference has said that Indian Navy has put on hold a plan to build the second indigenous aircraft IAC-2, which is larger than IAC-1 INS विक्रांत. तो INS विक्रांत से जो बड़ी इंडिजिनस एयरक्राफ्ट बनाने की बात की गई है, उस प्लान को अभी फिलहाल के लिए होल्ड पे रखा गया. Why? Because INS विक्रांत is performing reasonably well and they want to build the second piece of that. So instead, he said that it's considering an option to repeat the order of IS-1, that is INS Vikrant, and the Navy chief has added that this decision would be taken as INS Vikrant has performed well during the trials, which has capitalized on expertise now countries availing at this point of time. क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ कैरियर्स की अगर बात करें, जो कैरियर्स की क्लासिफिकेशन होती है उनकी साइज, एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर्स कैन बी क्लासिफाइड इन टर्म्स ऑफ लाइट, मीडियम एंड लार्ज सप्लाईज, राइट. लार्ज की अगर बात करें या लाइट की बात करें, लाइट में 25 कैरियर्स आती है, मीडियम्स में 30, एंड इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द लार्जर वन इट हैज 90 एयरक्राफ्ट. मीडियम की जो कैपेसिटी है 30 to 50 के बीच तक, राइट. Now after that, in terms of role, they are categorized on the fleet, escort, air defense, amphibious assault and anti-submarine warfare helicopter carriers. Now, in terms of methodology used to recover the aircraft, they can be categorized as a catapult assistance takeoff recovery system, जिसको CATOBAR भी कहते हैं, and a short stage off burst assisted recovery STATOBARs, and again the vertical short takeoff at the carrier. So these are some of the technical terms that is used to categorize and methodologize different kind of INS that is actually working and already commissioned in India. Now, specifically talking about INS Vikrant, the commissioning of INS Vikrant in September this year has demonstrated India's capability to design and build the largest and most complex warship, and it is a kind of an indigenous example to the global level that India has put in with the INS Vikrant. And IC-1 की अगर बात करें, it's called before commissioning at the mid-80s, where Indian Navy Design Directorate has planned for finalizing the government approval and construction in 2002. बोथ इंडिजिनस स्टील एंड DRDO, अगर बात करें, इन दोनों ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने मिलके डेवलप किया है एक ऐसी क्लासिकल इंडिजिनस एयरक्राफ्ट जो कि काफ़ी ज़्यादा स्टेट ऑफ आर्ट एंड मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ इक्विप्ड है. Began its trial in 2021, ship was commissioned on September 2, 2022, and the expertise gained over the design has constructed ISC that will enable and fastest development of the largest ship which approved with the government. Now, China's ambitions की अगर बात करें, how China's ambitions are there in terms of maritime and how India can boost its maritime security and maritime capabilities countering China. So in the longer run, India should not lose the sign of the fact that China's first two aircraft carrier has a tonnage of over 65,000, which is third indigenous aircraft with Fujian, which replaced 85,000 ton, which has added a wings of 60 odd aircraft. And China's future plan is a 7-ship carrier force that will include nuclear powered submarine carriers over 1 lakh ton of the displacement. So ये capabilities है China की, and definitely at this point of time we cannot counter that, but we can build our capabilities which is aligned to that. Now, as measures emerging global power with an amicable China and doorstep, India can ill afford and file behind the sea control and maritime deterrence capabilities, जहाँ पे अपनी जो इंडिया की नेवी सेंट्रिक पॉलिसीज है वो और स्ट्रेंथन हो, और इस तरह की कैपेबिलिटीज बिल्ड करने के लिए इंडिया financially and even if you talk about indigenously should be developed. Now, moving to the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's questions. For first question, the correct answer is C. For the second question, the correct answer is C. Today's MCQ for practice, Sandy's recently seen on news is related to GI-enabled tracking system of Sand News, Social Security Scheme for Differently Able Instant Messaging app of Government of India, and a news of fertilizer developed by ICI New Delhi. Do check it out for the correct option. The second question for the day, Security Appellate Tribunal. Which of the following statement is correct? It's a statutory body established under the provision of SEBI Act. The presiding officer of SAT shall be appointed by the President of India. So do check it out for the correct option. Practicing a lot more question will definitely give you an edge and the clarity over a topic. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.